Hello my friends, and welcome back to the rabbit hole, and welcome to my huge review of the Korean skincare brand Round Lab. This video has been a month in the making. I am excited about it, but I admit to you I'm a smidge on the nervous side as well. Now, if you are new to this channel, I want to tell you a few things before we start. First of all, my skin type is dry, acne prone, and a little bit sensitive. Also, there are timestamps and links to every product that I will be essentially speed reviewing in today's video in the description box below. Make sure to check that out if you are clicking on this video today because, I don't know, you have a cart full at a Korean beauty retailer of Round Lab products and you're trying to decide, but which ones should I buy? Are any of you feeling called out right now? Don't feel too bad, that's been me a lot as well. I watched videos to figure out what to buy from Round Lab. And finally, I did purchase most of the products in today's video with my own money based on your recommendations. I tried to pick 2 to 3 products from each one of Round Lab's lines. And Stylovana was kind enough to send me 3 of these products. I will make sure to put my Stylovana discount code up on the screen. Make sure you use that if you would like to get a discount on the Stylovana website. Now, with all of that said, I want to explain that in today's video, we're going to have a little bit more than usual of a talk about the brand itself. Sometimes I feel like I just dive right into the reviews, but today, there's a lot I want to say about just Round Lab. First things first, this is a brand that is kind of difficult to find reviews of, at least in English. And lo and behold, if you order these products, most of them will come to you completely in Korean. There is not much English on this box at all, aside from better skin round, better round, and made in Korea. The rest of it is it's Korean. And it turns out that this brand has won a lot of awards for their skincare products, but within Korea. So I find it really interesting. It kind of feels like a brand that is just doing extremely well in Korea and yet relatively undiscovered, at least in America. Given the shortage of reviews, I have to admit that I think I went into this review with a very different set of expectations from what I am rising with a month later. I think that I thought this brand was going to be a lot like I'm From. You know, I'm From has the fig line, the honey line. We're talking about a soybean line, a birch line, a mugwort line. I mean, and yet, let me give you an example of this. So this is the mugwort toner. As you know, I'm From has a mugwort essence. The mugwort essence from I'm From contains 100% mugwort extract. Granted, it's an extract. That certainly can mean that it will have other ingredients, but the principle is still there. Whereas this mugwort toner from Round Lab contains 11,760 parts per million of mugwort, which might sound like a lot, but a million is a big number. That's 1%. That's 1% mugwort. So I was thinking about this and I thought, you know, this could kind of feel maybe misleading for some people, especially if you are familiar with I'm From's products and a lot of other brands that have those really high percentages of extracts. You could buy this and go, wait a minute, where's the mugwort? We have a video talking all about mugwort, and I talked in that video about how shocked I was that mugwort is such a popular ingredient in skincare products, and yet there's not a lot of published literature on mugwort. But there is a lot of published literature on these plant constituents that Round Lab uses in this very product. So this is all to say it's been really interesting. I feel like really what I've witnessed with this is a bit of a difference between cultures. You know, here in the US, our products are often based on active ingredients. Products are called a vitamin C serum. Sometimes they're based on their function, a calming serum, right? Whereas perhaps what's going on, and again this is my own speculation, perhaps in Eastern countries, including Korea, naming a product a mugwort product conveys to the potential buyers that it will be a calming product without needing to highlight the medicoside, asiatic acid, etc. Does that make sense? It's basically that I think that mugwort toner does carry the same meaning in Korea that calming toner would. And one final thing before we get into the reviews, I have but one tiny disclaimer. I know some people hate them, but it is especially important with today's video. If you've been following this channel, I've given some K-beauty brands some exceedingly glowing reviews, right? Skin 1004, Beauty of Joseon, Acen Tree, Pyunkang Yul, the list goes on and on. This is all to tell you that my Round Lab review might be a little bit more mixed in my feelings. Don't get me wrong, you're gonna see some glowing reviews on some of these products, but I believe it is really important to share my own honest experience, even when I know that, things like reactions, for example, are pretty uncommon. It's a very small proportion of the population that experiences allergies, etc. But I still think it's important to tell you about when that happened, and to also give this disclaimer that it will be rare. As such, I really want to make sure to say this review is just my own experience, my own opinion. If you've had a completely different experience, I highly encourage you to leave your comments in the comment section below. I think that, with skincare, it's already so tricky. It's so hard to figure out what products and what ingredients are going to work for you. I think that the most important thing for us all to do is to be honest about our experiences. And frankly, it really is amazing that we have YouTube, we have the comment section. It's a very different time as a millennial. When we were growing up, we just had infomercials. You only ever heard the good about products. It's kind of great that we do live in a world where we can share the not so good. And some of you might be tensing up because I have a feeling some people really love this brand. Again, just leave your thoughts. It's very helpful. And with that, let's go ahead and get into this review. What I want to do is I want to take you through the lines in order of my favorite line to my least favorite line. Of course, I didn't have time to try everything, but I do have a very clear winner in my absolute favorite Round Lab line. And it is the Soybean line. Apparently, this is the line that is designed for those with dry skin, with more sensitivities, and yeah, that's probably mostly me. Yes, throw in a curveball of acne, but overall, dry and sensitive, I'm probably going to love that line. So let's start out with the Soybean toner that you may have seen me apply in last week's video. Oh my goodness, this is such a standout toner. It is actually a truly unique toner, and that always appeals to me. Here's what's so interesting about this. When you first look at this, it looks like a milky toner. It looks like it will be something like the Laneige Cream Skin Refiner. It looks like maybe even the Dr. Suvrical. It looks milky, and yet it still feels very lightweight, so lightweight that I put this into a spray bottle and it actually sprayed on my skin, no problems. It doesn't leave your skin feeling sticky and heavy and moisturized. Instead, it feels deeply hydrating. And at this point, I feel like I've talked about this a lot. Those really moisturizing, milky toners have been tricky for me to figure out where to put into my routine. I now like them after the serum step and before moisturizer, but I think a lot of people potentially are still struggling to figure out where to place those, whereas with this Soybean toner, it's not difficult to figure out where to place it because even though it looks milky, it feels lightweight. It's perfect before your serums. Now, like I was explaining in the intro, even though this is the soybean toner, it does only contain 1% of soybean. However, it contains a lot of other ingredients to make it hydrating, to make it a bit soothing. It has some panthenol. It has the active plant part of licorice for brightening. It has a ceramide ingredient. It has hyaluronic acid. It all comes together to be really a beautiful hydrating toner. Again, especially if you have dry or sensitive skin. And if you like the idea of that toner, oh, the soybean serum is just next level. I will have the ingredients up so you can see this. It's jam-packed. It's jam-packed. This time we have 4 different ceramide ingredients. Look at all the probiotic, postbiotic ingredients. And that's exactly what you should get from a serum. A serum should be your treatment step. It should be a lot more concentrated, and that's exactly what this soybean serum is. It's really beautiful. Again, I'll emphasize though, this is a product that is for dry skin. I think that it might be a little bit too heavy in terms of sensation on your skin if you do have a more oily skin type. That said, it still does absorb nicely into your skin. One more note with these soy products, I don't feel that they have a smell to them at all, actually. Again, I don't have the strongest nose, but to me, there's just no scent from either one of these. There's not any kind of essential oil ingredients. In short, the line is designed for dry and sensitive skin, and I feel like Round Lab nailed it. My second favorite line is none other than the Birch line, which is what I've heard a lot of buzz about. I've heard a lot of people say that they absolutely love the Birch sunscreen, SPF 50+, PA4+, and count me in with that group. I absolutely think this is a gorgeous sunscreen. This one is called the Birch Juice Moisturizing Sunscreen, and I really have to admit that I think it is a truly moisturizing sunscreen, which is pretty hard to accomplish. I feel that most sunscreens are more in the neutral territory, drying if you're talking about mineral sunscreens, but yeah, more neutral, and yet this one actually does feel moisturizing. You know how in the West we have moisturizers that contain sunscreen? That's actually what this feels like to apply. You know, just make sure that you are using your full 2 fingers length with this product and you will get the sunscreen that is advertised. The box actually does have the English translation on it, so you can see all of the ingredients. You can see that this is another Colmar. It says manufactured by Colmar, so it will be kind of similar overall to, I guess I would say it feels most like the Beauty of Joseon sunscreen. As you would expect with a Colmar sunscreen, it is using those newest filters in it. It's a beautiful formula, no added fragrance, again, does not have a smell at all to me. It is a really nice sunscreen to use. I do have one note for you though. You can have an allergy to birch. I was slightly concerned that I might, but I feel at this point that I do not have any problems with these sunscreens, thank goodness, because I really like them. But again, it is possible it will be a small portion of the population. Most people should be able to use this with no problem. And then the Birch Juice Sunstick. You all already saw me apply this in a past video. I've got to say, I really like this just as much as the sunscreen itself. I feel like the role that these play for me is as a touch-up sunscreen. I don't like to rely on these as my daily sunscreen because I think it is kind of hard to, know that you are perfectly coating the entirety of your face. But it's so nice to have these when you are out and about and you need to reapply sunscreen, but you don't have the ability to wash your hands. You can at least, get some coverage. I think what I'm saying is they really have a place for me personally. I really do enjoy them, and I always have one with me. This is another really good one. So, have you been watching this video and wondering when I'll get to one of those products that I apparently didn't like? Wait no further. Oh, I didn't like this product at all. What a nice idea that I don't like at all. This is the Birch Sun Cushion, SPF 50+, PA4+. You would think if I just said that I love the sunscreen and I love the sun stick, wouldn't you think I would love the cushion? But no, it is nothing like them. First of all, this is a mineral sunscreen, so we are back into that territory where we've gone from me saying, oh, this is a very moisturizing sunscreen to, nope, it's drying. And maybe it's just my retinized skin, if you will, but I can't do mineral sunscreens anymore. I wish I had looked more into this before I grabbed it. Because it's not just that it feels drying, it also has such a white cast. Oh my goodness, such a white cast. I managed to do this for one day. One day, I woke up in the morning, I flipped this open, tried it on, and I went, oh my gosh, that is awful. I can't imagine if this is a product that I had, thrown in my bag and then I was out and about, pull it out, and then try to reapply my sunscreen and walk around like that all day. Oh gosh, it was so bad, y'all. It was so bad. Heavy white cast and drying, so it's a huge pass for me personally. Now, going in order of my ranking of Round Lab lines here, next is going to be the Dokdo line, which, apologies, I'm probably southernizing that, but an A for effort. Perhaps some of you will be surprised by this, as this is a very beloved line. There are a lot of people who absolutely swear by this line, and it is interesting. It's a line that is using seawater, which is of course going to give you minerals in your skincare, and I think that that's something that maybe we don't think that much about. So perhaps these products kind of fill a void for some people, but the reality for me in using these is that I feel like there's a couple of possibilities for why this isn't my absolute favorite line, and one might be that all of the incredibly glowing reviews on this might have set my expectations too high. But let's just go ahead and go through the products. So the Round Lab Dokdo Cleanser, Some people say they absolutely love this, but as a big disclaimer, I am extremely picky with cleansers. I prefer cream cleansers, and this is it's just a little bit too drying for me. I did finally figure out that I can kind of make these products work by using the absolute tiniest amount of product. It's so little that it's almost hard to control. In fact, I will show you what I started doing. I got this so long ago. This is the Noonie Marshmallow Whip Maker. It was something I got in a PR box. It's, you make foam with this. I'll show you on the screen how it works. Anyway, what I started doing is taking this cleanser, the tiniest amount, a tiny amount of water, whipping it up, and actually using a fraction of what I whipped up. And I feel like it's really interesting to me that this is working for me. I've finally found a way to make all of these cleansers work. It's interesting. That said, it's a lot of work, and I don't want to do that much work every time I cleanse. So for me, it's not going to be an absolute favorite, but I will say I see the appeal. I see the appeal because with this being a product where a little goes such a long way, it's going to be really cost effective. The 1025 Dokdo toner, oh my goodness, this is the one that has won so many awards. Now, you see how I have this spray pump on this? This doesn't come with this, but I like to make spray toners out of every toner that I try. I will actually tell you, in the end, it turns out I don't prefer this in spray form. The other toners, fine, as sprayers. In fact, I prefer them. This one, I actually like this best as a toner that I pour onto a cotton pad and then just wipe my skin down after cleansing. Strangely enough, that actually seems to be where this toner shines. Now, they're doing kind of some interesting things with this one. It is overall a very hydrating toner that doesn't feel heavy. It does have a little bit of enzymatic exfoliation to it. Very, very gentle, not on the level of, your AHA type of exfoliation. Again, it has your mineral ingredients. And again, with it winning all of these awards, I think what happened with this is, again, expectations versus reality. To me, it's fine. Let me put it like this. If you are somebody who actually does use your toner to remove the last bits of your makeup, your last bits of your cleanser, which I think some people do, you might actually really love this because it turns out it's really good for that, which makes it almost feel like an old school astringent toner in the US, except it is anything but astringent because it is hydrating. Yeah, I might have actually just explained this in giving my review to you, why this is so popular. That is something that I really haven't seen other products achieve. All that said, if you are somebody who says, I don't have extra cleanser left behind after cleansing, I wonder if you might feel the same way that I do, which is, it's fine. And then the ampoule. This is a product I requested from Stylovana because I noticed that Stylovana is one of few retailers that actually has the 4 different types of ampoules. Yeah, wildly, if you are shopping the Round Lab brand on Amazon, you will only have 1 ampoule option. There are actually 4 of them. So I picked out the Tone Up ampoule, which contains some niacinamide ingredients. It's overall a pretty basic ampoule. I think that it's really just based in niacinamide. So I do find it interesting that Round Lab has created these 4 different distinct ampoules. You choose the one that is right for you. Nonetheless, it's not, again, an absolute favorite for me. I think because I do actually like to have a lot more going on in my products. Like I said with the soybean serum, you saw everything going on there. That's a little more up my alley. One more thing, so if you wonder why these are called 1025 Dokdo, apparently this is a political statement. Now I'm going to tell you all of this. Keep in mind that I'm an American. I've only ever lived in America, but I understand that there is a situation with the islands of Dokdo. Apparently there has been a controversy between Japan claiming that they own them and Korea, and the reason it's called 1025 is because on October 25th it was returned to Korea. I feel like this is really interesting. You don't see a lot of kind of political statements in skincare brands. Not a lot of it, sometimes sort of, but not a lot. And especially one that is so tailored to, it's a Korean brand. It's tailored to Korea. I find it really interesting there is a part of me that wonders, is it easier to fall in love with these products because that political statement resonates with people? It just kind of makes me wonder. I think they're nice products, but the amount of popularity these apparently have when it's a wiping toner to me and a cleanser, it's something I'm still really trying to figure out. And maybe that can help to explain it, but maybe I'm completely wrong. Next on my list is the Pine Tree Cica collection, and it might surprise some of you that I'm ranking this lower. I actually think that I like this collection. I mean, you're about to see how amazing these ingredients are, but I guess what it is the results are a little slow. I guess because they are gentle, which is either a pro or a con. Much like the Mugwort line that we will get to, it has those calming ingredients, your medecasoside, your asiatic acid, your asiaticoside, your medecasic acid, all are in this product in combination with Centella asiatica, multiple forms of hyaluronic acid, your capryloyl salicylic acid, that is LHA. It is a gentler alternative to salicylic acid. In short, I feel like this should actually be a product that I love as much as the soybean serum. Like I said, I like a lot going on in my products, and we have a lot going on here. You have exfoliation, you have calming, you have hydrating. And maybe my slow results are explained by, they don't have the percentage on the website, but it is on the packaging. It contains 0.00008% of those medecasoside asiatic acid ingredients. And that's kind of low. We typically see those studied at about 0.1 to 0.2%. It's almost like the results didn't match the ingredients unless it is just too low of levels to see the expected results. Unlike the soy and the mugwort lines, this actually is pretty high in pine tree. It has 79% pine tree extract. That does give it a smell. It smells a little bit like pine sol to me. Maybe that's not too surprising. I also bought the Pine Tree Cica sheet mask, which is really out of character for me because I don't really buy sheet masks anymore, but I think I just, I wanted to make sure I was trying 2 items from this brand. At the end of the day, I can't tell you too much about this. I bought 2 of them. I used 1 so far. I will say that it does have less of the pine extract in it. This one has 15%. And intriguingly, I do like that they're actually disclosing the percentages or parts per million of the asiaticoside, medecasic acid, all of those ingredients. Interesting. And last and least, oh, don't hate me, please don't hate me, just my experience. The Mugwort line. Yeah, the line that originally I loved. I mean, you can see how much of this giant bottle of toner I went through, and yet I had to stop using this. Well, maybe I didn't have to, but I did after I witnessed what happened. We'll just talk about these 2 products and then I'll elaborate on what happened. So the Mugwort toner here, you can see just how bubbly of a product is. It's one of those you all ever experienced your toners bubbling up on you. I really was enjoying this. I was putting it in a spray bottle and just kind of using it whenever and wherever. Now, in terms of the ingredients, again, as mentioned, it does only contain 1% of that mugwort ingredient. I just realized I mixed up the cream and the toner. This one does not contain the active Cica constituents. It's the cream that does. This one instead contains some panthenol. It contains some allantoin. It should be a fairly calming toner. But it does kind of have a bit more of an herbal scent than I think I maybe expected. I was looking past it. I didn't think too much of it for the longest time, but that is an essential oil in there. That is sage oil. And as always, the tricky part with any kind of essential oil isn't that I think that every person ever needs to avoid them. It's that you can have an allergy, you can have irritation from them. I decided to pull this within the past week and just discontinue using it because, I've seen a lot more inflammation on my face than usual. I don't want to just say it's because of Round Lab. It is the holidays, after all. It's a stressful time of the year. My voice is in agreement with that. But we still have the story of the Mugwort cream, which, again, should have been an amazing product. I actually bought this because of Dr. Dre. I talked about how there weren't a lot of reviews of this brand. I found her talking about this, and she said that it is like the Aveeno Calming Oat Moisturizer, which I loved. I actually loved that, shockingly, even though it's more lightweight. It was just a really nice moisturizer for probably anyone. So I went ahead and bought this. I thought that I was liking it, although I do think the Aveeno is better. I'd have to say, you know how sometimes we play that game of find a dupe? I kind of feel like I liked the Aveeno more. This one sits on your skin in a little bit of a thicker kind of way, which is surprising for a lighter weight moisturizer. So Aveeno still wins for me in the end. Ingredients wise, it looks pretty good. Again, your 1% of the Artemisia, the mugwort ingredient in here, and those active constituents. Again with the sage oil though. Again with an essential oil, which is really surprising because most of their products don't have essential oils. So anyway, here's the story. I'd been using this brand for, I guess, about maybe 3 weeks at the time this happened. I was noticing my skin was more inflamed, and I was trying to figure out what could possibly be going on. So I go to My Sweetie. Now, My Sweetie has the same, not the exact same, but she has sensitive skin like I do. I would even say she has more sensitive skin. So I go to her and I say, hey, can I get you to try some skincare products? And she protested, and how ironic is that I would have all of this skincare and yet my very own partner doesn't want to try it. She protested. She said, no, I hate trying new skincare. I want to just stick with what I know works for me. But I argued. I kept arguing my case. I even told her, I said, no, Dr. Dre recommended this one. You have to try it. Do you know what she said to that? Do you know what she said? She was looking at her phone. She looked up at me and she goes, well, hey, guys. Unbelievable. Somehow I talked her into it. I said, I'm just going to patch test on you before you try it, make sure that it works for you. So I go, this comes with a cute little scoop, by the way. So I scoop it out, put a little bit on her forehead, which she chose. Normally I patch test here. She chose her forehead. Put it on. Walk away. I am starting to return to the bathroom when I hear behind me, hey, this is burning. Now understand, I had just talked her into this. I could not possibly express on my face what I was actually feeling, which was something like, put that on a YouTube thumbnail, but I couldn't express it, right? I had to go, it's fine, I'm sure there's nothing wrong, let me just go ahead and wipe it off. I grab some tissue and I wipe it off her forehead, and what do I see on her skin? Her skin is all red. You can see that she just had instant irritation from this. And I find that really interesting. See, that's her sensitivity. That's what she experiences, and it's why she doesn't like trying products. Whereas for me, it's always a much more latent reaction. I can react, I may be reacting, but it's always much more latent. It's never instant. Rarely instant. Augustinus Bader aside. Anyway, that's the reason that the Mugwort line is last on my list, even though hypothetically it should have been great. Maybe take the sage oil out, just reduce the risk further by removing essential oils, maybe. And that brings us to the end of this video. I feel like some of you probably hate me. I definitely went against popular opinion with some of these, but how do you not when you see your sweetheart have a reaction like that? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, again, for me, the keepers from this brand, Soybean collection and the Birch collection. But that's just my opinion. Again, I welcome your opinion, so feel free to leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Otherwise, I hope you did find this video helpful at least. I wonder if my sweetie will watch this video. I'm very curious to see if I did successfully play it off. I feel like I probably didn't. I have a very expressive face. I probably didn't. But that's it. Make sure to like and subscribe if you found this video helpful. Thank you again to Stylevana for sending over 3 of these products. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your week. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you all next time.